riders! Warm welcome to Horse Talk. And this live, I planning to talk about why control is useless when it comes to training horses and especially solving problems and what we can do instead. Because the other day I was also going live and I was talking about why it's not beneficial to use the reins for controlling the horse because it's going to wear out our rein aid. If we always use the rein, the horse is going to be desensitized to the rein. And she asked, yeah, but if we're not using the rein to control the horse, how do we control it? And I was like, what do you mean? Because she didn't understand that how I train horses is to make them self controlling. So I'm not controlling the horse with the seat or the voice or the legs or the neck rope or stuff like that. The horse controls the horse. The horse controls itself. And by training horses to become self controlling, we solve a whole lot of problems. Yes, and I think that's probably the number one thing I've learned in my 35 years with horses and taking a riding instructor degree and a horse trainer degree and going to Mongolia and riding semi-wild horses is that control is useless. Yet we as humans, the first thing we do is control. If we are not aware of it, our hands are everywhere controlling the horse, telling the horse not to do stuff. Even if we don't even notice. It's so easy for us to immediately try to control something. Yeah, if you just look at pictures of horses standing together with their owners, I will give you $5 for each picture you find without the owner having the hand somewhere around the horse's head to control it. It's very, very rarely we see an owner and a horse standing together without the owner not having the hand somewhere in the horse's face trying to control it. And it's not because horse owners or humans, want to control the horse. It's just what we do if we are not aware of it. But the horse will immediately notice this, just as the horse will immediately notice when we are not controlling them, but communicating with them. And sometimes these horses immediately become worse when we stop controlling them. Just to warn you. So it's not like, yeah, the horse immediately notices and immediately gets better. Because with this control way of riding and handling horses, which is very, very common, we tend to kind of manage symptoms to make sure the wrong thing doesn't happen. But if we give up on control, many wrong things can happen. But that's also the way we can get this out of the horse's system. Okay, let me know in the comments below if this makes sense. And if you have tried this, and if you have also become maybe a little bit aware of how natural it is for us humans to control the horse. It's like the first thing we do. Yeah, and how hard it can be when we try not to do it. But it's also extremely effective in solving problems and getting a self controlling horse. Yes. And control is useless because if we are always controlling the horse, we're going to wear out our aids and our signals. If our hand is always there on the lead rope close to the horse's head, the horse is going to stop responding to feel because there's always something there, with a little bit of pressure. So these horses are going to ignore it because it's always there. But if we are not always there with our hands on the rein or the lead rope or whatever, we can actually just pick it up and take the slack out, and that's going to make a difference the horse can respond to. And obviously, if we are riding our horse and holding tight reins all the time, the horse is going to get used to these tight reins. And we need to then pull even more to give a signal, because tight reins is then the normal. And to give a signal that isn't like just the normal, we need to, be quite loud. And some riders are even riding around, with tight reins and doing stuff. And to then do something that actually meets something, that rider needs to become even louder. While horses, they are so sensitive that they can feel a fly land on their butt. So they can also notice if we take the slack out of the rein and pick up on the rein. But all these signals, if we need the reins to control the horse, we can't use these light signals anymore. Yes, so we're going to wear out our riding signals. And the same with the leg aid and the seat aid, of course. So that's why I'm not controlling the horse in any kind of mysterious way with my seat or my legs or my voice. The horse controls itself, and I just try to follow the horse and use the signals to ask the horse to do something, not to not do something. Yep. And it's also preventing us from solving the actual cause of problems. So if we're always controlling the horse, we are very often kind of managing symptoms instead of solving the actual cause. And I will try to make some kind of examples here. So if a horse who is always going faster and is kind of rushy, if we are riding that horse and managing the rushing by giving and taking and doing stuff with the reins, that horse is never going to learn how to maintain speed on a loose rein. We are actually preventing the horse from becoming self-controlling and preventing the problem from being solved by controlling the horse. And it's also the same when it comes to forward. If we have a horse who's lacking forward and we make sure the horse never stops by always giving leg aid, we are preventing the solution from happening, which is the horse finding and maintaining forward from self. So basically, if we are controlling horses, it makes riding very much more complicated than it needs to be. Yes. And yeah, I think those were the main reasons for not controlling horses. And if you have any more additions to this, then please let me know. I think the third thing would be that controlling horses is actually more dangerous than not controlling them. Because if you have a horse who doesn't really have any self-control, that horse is much more dangerous to ride than a horse who always needs guidance from the rider to behave. And I think I also got some kind of questions about the bend to stop in regard of being able to do an emergency stop with horses and empty worry and stuff like that. And the bend to stop is actually not controlling the horse, because we use only one rein, so the horse kind of has a way out. And also the bend to stop, which is explained in my latest vlog, is very much about the horse finding its own stop. So we are not stopping the horse is stopping the horse. Yes, and by kind of building on this, we from slower speed to begin with, we can also do this at a higher speed, because the exercise will connect the rein aid to the hind leg of the horse. But it's not a controlling, it's more like self-controlling exercise, because we are facilitating the right thing to happen, which is the horse finding their own stop, but we are not making it happen by pulling on two reins. Yes, which reminds me of the fourth thing why control is not very beneficial. Because when we are controlling horses, it is much more likely that we actually release on the wrong thing. And since horses learn from the release of pressure and not the pressure itself, we also risk teaching them the wrong thing. So, for instance, this Rushy horse who's always going faster, and we are controlling the speed with the reins, always like going take and give and making sure the horse doesn't bolt. You know, when this horse bolts, because that's eventually going to happen, that horse is going to do that by going against the rein. And since we have been trying to control the horse for such a long time, the horse is then going to get the release from running faster. And since horses always seek towards the release, that's what the horse is going to do more. We are basically teaching the horse the bolting by trying to prevent it. And the same with the horse who lags forward. When we're always controlling them with our leg aid, making sure they're not stopping, they are not getting a release for going forwards. The actually only time a horse who lags forwards and who is controlled to, go forwards is getting a release from the leg aid is when the horse is stopping and standing still. So that horse is going to think even more about the stop. So it's actually very, very counterproductive. Yes. And what I also found is that although the bend to stop is a great exercise that, makes horses soft in the body and, makes them engage the hind, and it also gives us a way of stopping the horse while emptying worry. It is, an exercise that you can do if to manage a situation there and then. But if the horse has, for instance, separation anxiety, or is barn sour, or there are any other causes of the horse being upset and spooking and bucking and bolting, the bend to stop isn't going to solve that. It's just going to give us a tool to empty worry and, get the horse calm again. Yes, and that's why I actually made a training for you so that if you have a horse who is kind of tense out on the trails, and especially when alone, and is unpredictable and spooking, and has this kind of, you don't know really why the horse is anxious because there is really no reason, and you have tried different things, you've tried the bend to stop, you have tried everything, but you haven't really solved it, then this training might or will actually help, because it has helped very many other riders in the same situation. Because if we are riding on a horse who has separation anxiety, that horse is going to be a little bit tense when alone on the trails and away from the others. And since their worry cup is already kind of almost full, it takes very little for it to overflow. And although we don't really see any reason why the horse should be spooking or acting up, the horse has this reason, because they are always a little bit worried. And we might have tried many different things to get them relaxed, but we haven't solved the actual cause, which is the separation anxiety. And this exercise solves separation anxiety. Yes, by helping horses find relaxation, which is key, because if a horse who has separation anxiety only finds relaxation when reunited with other horses, that's going to make the other horses the reason for the horse feeling relaxed and feeling good, which is going to fuel the separation anxiety even more. So we need some kind of tools to be able to help the horse find relaxation. And those tools are not controlling the horse, but communicating with them and facilitating it, which is shown in this exercise. And you can find it on ridelikeaviking.no/trust. And it will make your horse confident when alone, And it will also make your horse more confident on trails and on clinics and shows, because it will give you a little bit of set of exercises that you can do to help your horse find relaxation again. And the training also actually contains a couple of videos of stuff you can do that aren't really exercises. It's just kind of changing your routine a little bit when handling and managing the horse. So it's not something that you need to spend a whole lot of time on, but something that has a huge effect. And that has benefited very many riders, some even on the verge of giving up, or others who, have had a horse with separation anxiety for many, many years, tried many different things to solve it. And it wasn't until they did this that it actually got solved. And they then got a new horse that was responsive to signals, that was brave and confident on trails, and that was much more fun to ride and enjoyable to bring, on clinics and shows and stuff like that. So head on over to ridelikeaviking.no/trust. I will also post the link in the comments if you need a training tool for building trust and confidence for your horse. Yes. So that's it for tonight. And Rukostalon says it's so important to help the horse to be comfortable and have better confidence. Exactly. And we don't do that by controlling them. We do it by doing the exercise on ridelikeaviking.no/trust. And it's not complicated. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's definitely a game changer. And it's also going to make us as horse trainers less controlling and build that communication and the deep bond that we truly want with our horses. Okay, thank you so much for watching this evening and hope to see you there. Bye for now.